Welcome back to day 2 of the Global Landscape Forum here in Bonn 2019, where we're focusing on rights in the landscape. And this afternoon, I have the pleasure and honor to speak with Robert Nassy, who is the DG for C4 and an expert in the fields of ecology and management of tropical forests. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry. So tell me, why a GLF about rights?
Okay, why a GLF about rights? We have a problem in climate change. The main, one of the easiest, one of the most efficient way we can have in terms of reducing greenhouse gas emission and having less carbon in the air is by managing land properly and storing carbon in the land in trees or grasses. So that means that land use and land use change is a very important issue in climate change mitigation and adaptation. And 25% of the land, or 25% of the carbon stored, it's located in land that is or should be under indigenous or local community control.
Right.
And the fact is that there is only maybe 10 or 12% of this land that is effectively under these people's control, and the rest is under the control of someone else, be it a government, be it a logging concession, be it a mining company. And you have the case that either the land, the area is under your control, you have rights on it, and you can assert the rights, and you can stop someone coming and cutting your trees, or you can stop someone coming and making a hole and digging, or you don't. And if you don't, what you do in terms of the economical rationale is, you just grab everything you can before someone else comes.
Right.
And of course, this is not very sustainable. So giving the rights to the people living in one place, to the resources and to their environment, to their land, it's a necessary condition for proper management of this piece of land or these resources. It doesn't mean that they will take the right decision necessarily. I mean, it's sort of human nature being human nature. But you are sure that if it's not the case, it is not going to be working. And then we have empirical evidence that shows that when you give communities rights to their resources, they manage it more rationally and more efficiently and more sustainably than when there is none and when someone else managing for them. So that's why rights are important as a necessary condition for sustainably managing the land.
Great. So what are the main challenges that you're facing in trying to secure rights for local communities and landscapes?
The main challenge is if you look at the government don't really like that. I mean, it's the whole issue of human rights.
Right.
Everybody talks about it, but in practice, it's a very topical subject. I mean, it's sort of some country will not recognize indigenous rights because they say, everybody is a citizen of the country, so why should we recognize minority or local rights? Some countries say no, but the land belongs to the state, like the old Napoleonian code. I mean, and everything that is on the land belongs to the state, and everything which is below the land belongs to the state, and the people there are eventually the use of
state land.
But they can't take decision on the land. And then you say, okay, but you need to give the people a decision. That means that you remove power from the states, so states don't like it. On the other side, I mean, it's sort of even in cases where people have the rights to their resources, they are facing such powerful players on the other side. I mean, it can be a large oil major, or it can be that they don't have the capacity to really not fight, but at least even discuss at the same level of power. I mean, and so people arrive with a significant amount of money, they buy the land, in fact, or they buy the right to the land to one person that is not necessarily representing the community. So that's the difficulties. I mean, it's this asymmetry of power and the asymmetry of information that makes the capacity of people asserting the right on their land very difficult and not necessarily a topic that is looked enough.
Right. And what are some of the opportunities, though, or solutions through this? Like, we know what this is the problem, this resistance with governments in terms of recognizing indigenous or community rights. How are we going to find a balance with this to push this agenda forward?
Well, it's a matter of putting people in places like that or in negotiation on the same place and recognizing that the interests are not necessarily antagonist.
Right.
I mean, it's sort of, it may be that the interest of the local community and the interest of the states can be aligned without a third party. So the states want to valorize this piece of land by harvesting some valuable timber. Instead of giving the land as a concession to a foreign company, they could give the land as a concession to the local community with enough training, and the local community harvests the timber. Ultimately, the local community makes some money, the state gets the royalties, and the land is likely better managed than if you have this third foreign party that is just interested in making the money.
Right.
So that's one option, that's an opportunity. The other opportunity is the fact that I think there is a sense of urgency now. People realize that climate change is going to happen in 10 years, not in 50 or 100 years.
Right.
So they say, oh, what can we do? And then they look at the number and they say, okay, if you want to store carbon using one of these carbon extracting facilities from the air, it costs you $100 a ton. If you want to store carbon, giving some rights to the community, maybe something like $10 a ton. So there are opportunities because of this sense of urgency, and it's the same for big corporation. Okay, we need to sell cocoa-free, chocolate-free, deforestation-free chocolate. How do you get deforestation-free chocolate if you don't give the opportunity to the people that are doing that? So that's also things that are happening. So there is a window of opportunity. There we take it or not.
Right. Yes. Great. So, what would you like people here live at the GLF Bonn and online audiences to take away from the Global Landscapes Forum this year in Bonn?
Well, I think that the main message is rights matter, and they matter for things that may not be obvious, but it's important that I will have two messages. It's very important that the rights to local community and indigenous people are recognized, and it's very important at the same time that this local community and indigenous people are given the rights, are given the capacity to exercise their rights. But it's also important to be realistic.
Right.
You don't necessarily expect everybody in the local or indigenous community to be the good guys. So you need to have also a framework that allows to have a control. So you give the people the rights, but they have to operate and exercise their rights within a legal framework that is looking for the greater good of sustainability and the other people.
Great. And just for my last question, what do we have to look forward to for the rest of the year in terms of Global Landscapes Forum?
Well, it's a very busy year in terms of the Global Landscape Forum. The next meeting will be during the week of the UN General Assembly in New York, end of September, and it will be really focused around the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Then we will have another meeting in Accra, in Ghana, looking at forest landscape restoration, which is a follow-up to the meeting we had in Nairobi last year.
Right.
Then we will have the fifth investment case in Luxembourg, end of November, looking at how do you put in place innovative finance or sustainable finance for sustainable landscape. And then finally, there will be a meeting during the UNFCCC COP in Santiago de Chile in, I think, beginning of December. Or
Okay, wow. So it's a busy year for GLF, yes, which is great. And what are your takes from this year, for this weekend here at Bonn?
Well, I think nobody has been throwing stone at me when I was walking in the corridor, so I guess
It's going
people
okay.
are smiling. It seems that there be a good ambience, and people say, that was nice. So I think that there is a good vibe on this one.
Yes,
So
very good vibe. It's been fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know you're busy, and have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.